Men don't approach women anymore. MGTOW 2022. If you're tired of all the games and want to learn how to get the girl you want without having to approach her, this is the video for you. I'm going to talk about something many men are afraid of: approaching women. It's no secret that many men struggle with this, but what if I told you there was a better way? A way where you don't have to feel nervous or anxious when talking to a woman? In this video, I will show you how to do just that. I will also explain why men going their own way works. Many people look for love, but don't approach it as they used to. Nowadays, meeting new people is a rarity unless they are actively sought out online. Even before the pandemic, most of the people I know weren't the outgoing type, so it's hard to picture them suddenly becoming social butterflies. If what I'm saying is correct, there's no hope for that. Many dudes aim to have sex with a different woman every night. There are still plenty of people who favor the tried and true, male-initiated dating model. Dating as we know it is dying out, but that doesn't mean women have to put in any effort. New self-driven and digital technologies are rapidly being developed to replace the ancient tradition of human interaction. I predict that these new technologies will take over the space dating has traditionally occupied, resulting in a shift in social norms from what we're used to. Considering how people interact socially and the country's economy, as well as how difficult times are becoming due to rising inflation. Females, too, want to find a way to help cover their monthly living expenses. In today's world, the traditional dating approach of getting to know someone and then taking them out to dinner and drinks loses ground. These are examples of anecdotal evidence, but they carry a lot of weight and can give us some insight into the path we will take in the future. I want you to know how the younger generation has been exploited for financial gain in recent years, particularly since the epidemic. Please look at how they are reacting to all muffins right now. They have stayed current with the many social media and payment channels available today. Take a look at some of the women on Instagram who are being flown out to go shopping by wealthy men. Sugar daddy websites and cam sites have been around for some time, but the popularity of using them among young ladies is growing. Look at what they're doing and how people use sugar differ. They're blowing the secret out in the open for everyone to see. These are things happening right now, becoming increasingly acceptable in today's society. During the day, women can be seen selling sex on the streets of Seattle. Because I am confident that some of you still don't believe me and are looking for more evidence, I recommend you all look for sugar daddy websites on the internet. You have immediate access to all of the evidence. But if you're still not convinced, look at the facts, because you'd rather wear blinders and pretend something you disagree with doesn't exist. Then accept that this is the path we will take in the future. If you want to be a moral police officer, fine, but the truth is actual. And it's primarily young ladies doing it these days to make a little extra money on the side. There was even a case where parents agreed to sell their daughter's face on TikTok for $500. There are also websites where you can sell various images based on the client's fetish. So I'd like you to consider who is essential in dating. It turns out that it was not the older generations who were involved in illegal activities for a small amount of money. The younger generation is the one who has no qualms about doing these things. Because of their inexperience and willingness to take more risks, you are not required to participate, but this is the reality of where we are going, and I am only here to report on what is happening. Don't get me wrong, and you don't have to participate. I'm not here to persuade anyone to do anything against their moral compass. I want you to remember that there is a strong link between dating and prostitution. I've read a few articles that discuss how dating has replaced courtship as a new concept. Men were considered sinful to transport women outside and wine and dine them. However, we were raised watching people engage in the type of courtship we now call dating. So we didn't think much of it. It is already the norm for us, so my prediction is that the type of dating we know today will change and evolve into something else. I believe it is related to women selling themselves in ethically monogamous relationships, similar to what we see online. Because ethical non-monogamy is a new term that has recently replaced polyamory. I'll explain what I mean to those who don't know what I'm talking about. Engaging in romantic relationships with multiple people at the same time that is not entirely exclusive from one another is considered ethical non-anonymity. Simply put, the term polyamory sounds better on the tongue. They always behave in this way. They change the meanings of words to accommodate individual sentiments. Still, I brought up ethically non-anonymous partnerships because this is the direction we are heading based on the current state of the dating market. Let me illustrate what I'm trying to say with a real-world scenario to which you can all relate to understand the concept. Assume a young woman of generations has a boyfriend around her age, and the two of them cannot pay all of their monthly bills and living expenses together. As a result, the young lady decides to sign up for a sugar daddy website, such as Seeking Arrangements. Following that, a sugar daddy gives her a few extra dollars in exchange for special favors to help her, and her boyfriend pays for their day-to-day expenses, provided she has her boyfriend's permission. This is very likely how the next generation of dating will look, and the future looks bright for independent contractors and wealthy older men. Whether you're a young or old head, ethical monogamy or polygamy may become the term of choice for young men who must accept that their girlfriends will be monetized and may sell sex on the side. If you still don't believe me, look at girls on Instagram who have boyfriends. These boyfriends must be at ease because their girlfriends are exposing themselves to the scrutiny of hundreds, if not thousands, of men from all over the world simply because they earn more money than he does. Some boyfriends feel compelled to follow her lead and engage in embarrassing activities such as blowing out their girlfriends' backs on camera. When the content becomes repetitive, with the boyfriend being the only man smashing the girl, she is required to bring in a fan or other OnlyFans star to have bedroom fun on camera. To keep her subscriptions active, her boyfriend must simply buck up. This is the direction we will be taking. I predict that non-monogamy will become the new dating standard and that laws will be changed to make it at least partially acceptable for men and women to engage in heinous behaviors. As described earlier, women who stand up for morality on their own will not be supported by the government. They don't care about women that way, so they'll either tax men to give money to women or make it legal for men to pay married women for favors to support them. It is well known that at least 80% of women on dating apps choose the top 20 men to date. What if I told you that women would rather date a man they believe is equal to or better than a man they believe is beneath them or unfit to meet their needs? You most likely agree with me. The argument that women prefer high-value men and that hypergamy is a problem stems from the fact that the bottom 80% of men are either not chosen or can only get one woman to ask them out on a date. All you need to do is open your eyes, and you'll see what I mean. It is already happening, as evidenced by Andrew Tate and Dan Bilzerian. Both high-value men have a lot of money, and I don't see either of them with just one woman. Instead, I see them both surrounded by a group of women who aren't afraid to share it with them. To be honest, these women appear to be part of a harem. I know some of their women are paid, but most are there of their own volition. Most of you will be reluctant to admit that this is the path we're taking, but if you're willing to face reality, the proof is in the pudding. Is it possible I'm mistaken, and this does not apply to modern dating? Clearly not. I'll be in the right, and I have proof of it. Returning to the video title, men are no longer approaching women. What will women do if men are no longer willing to date and financially support them? What are our men going to do to crack that nut? If men pay for what they want, they won't need to approach women, and women will get the money they need right away. Look how well everything fits together. Rather than the other way around, any man could create a profile on a sugar daddy website, and women would contact him. With a few $100,000, depending on the caliber of the one you want, you could finally get what you want and crack that nasty nut. Men who will be in the bottom 80% of men and have no chance of meeting their ideal woman can still bust that bad nut if they set morality aside and have little money because they will not have to approach women or pay for dinner dates to go on a traditional date. In either case, you can choose to play without exerting any effort because you will be able to obtain what you require at a reasonable price. It is up to you to make the decision. The bottom line is that you can pay in terms of money, energy, attention, or time. I completely understand if you aren't ready or feel comfortable joining as free agents on the dark side, and I will not judge you for it, brothers. Others have no problem doing so because it is customary for men to pay for the privilege of having access to women when all they need is money. They will never approach women again because they have learned their lesson. Be sure to check the rest of my videos, where I explain the real reason why men leave women and proceed with MGTOW.